Hello my friends, VCT Americas will start on January 15. It's getting close and close. In this video my friends, I wanna give my insights on the roster changes and also do a power ranking. First, let's start with the best team in the world, the current world champions, NRG my friends. I gotta put them on the first place here. They only lost one player, that was someone who retired, but they replaced him with Kickoff, who is one of the best players in the world. You know, play for Team Liquid the last year with Nets, and I'm very excited to see how well he's gonna do here with Ethan and the other players. But my friends, a project was built. It's not a team, it's a super team. It's a dream team. And they got the gold Aspas, they added Zekan, they added Tax, they added Mazino, they kept Farno, and they also added one of the biggest chess players of all time, Happy, to their coach staff to be alongside Fraud. And this team, my friends, is made in Brazil, MIBR. I will put them in second place. They can overthrow Energy, yes they can. But for now, they gotta prove that, so I will put them on the second place here. But yes, this team was built to win, my friends. Anything less than the first place here would be a disappointment. On the third place, I will have to put G2, my friends. One of the most incredible rosters and a team with great ideas. One of the best teams in the world that were so close to winning internationals, but they couldn't do it yet. I think that's why they decided to make a change. They replaced Jonah P, the most underrated player of all time, and they added Baby Bay to the roster, a player that already played for them when he had to sub for Leaf during a short period of time. He did really well, and I think he's only getting better and better. One thing about Baby Bay is that we need to switch the key. He's not a caster anymore, he's a player, and we gotta respect him as a player. And, you know, criticize when he's doing bad stuff, playing bad, but also giving him props when he's playing good. And I think he's playing good. Do I think G2 could get a better player? Maybe yes, my friends. There are bigger names in the scene that they could get. You know, like, you could say Yay, you could say Demon 1, but maybe he's the perfect fit for G2, man. You know, like, we gotta trust that the people who made this decision, that I believe are all the players and the coaching staff, they know what they're doing. And they scream with Baby Bay. They know more about him than anyone else. So if they are putting the trust on Baby Bay to be the change that they need to start winning internationals, we gotta respect and give them time, okay? I will put G2 here in the third place, but you know, if things go how they plan, we could see them being a tier ahead. But for now, let's keep them on the third place here, because we still gotta wait and see how well they're gonna perform, especially against these two things here. Now, my friends, I'll go to the last place here, and this is interesting. Why is interesting? Because, my friends, I don't think this thing is bad. I think this thing will actually be pretty good. But consider the history, I gotta put them in the last place, okay? And the thing that I'm talking about is FURIA, my friends. A lot of people say they are cursed, and maybe they are, bro. We gotta wait and see. And these players here, their coaching staff, they gotta prove that they are not and that they will be good. So, they got Nerve, that was on tier 2, and Allen, that was also on tier 2. Two good players. They got EU, that was on 100 Thieves, Kuala Lumpur, that was on AV, played a long time for M80, versatile player, Alp player, and Artisan, it was informed to us today that he will be the captain of this thing, okay? I think someone else was making the colors in their off-season run, but I think Artisan will be the IGL of this team right now. He has experience with that because he did this job on MIBR last year, and after a while, they decided to go with Verno as the captain. But Artisan, when he was their IGL, he was doing good. Even on maps that he had to play Raze, he was still performing and doing a good job, okay? So I will put FURIA here in the last place for now. We can make some changes here depending on how things go, my friends. But for now, I'll put FURIA on the last place. And I hope you guys will prove me wrong, okay? So now, my friends, a thing that really impressed me during this off-season, that for me showed that they have one of the best talents ever, is LEVIATAN. They build low-key super team with very young players. But maybe their best player won't be playing for Kickoff. So that's a thing to keep an eye on. And they also added Onur, OG coach. They used to coach Crew, also coach Leviathan for a short period of time when they built this other super team with Kazan, King, Taco Lydia. That didn't work, but they have another opportunity here. So, King, one of the best IGLs. PXS will replace Neon for Kickoff because he's too young to play. I will talk about him more in a sec, okay? They added Blozin, very talented player. Very talented. I wasn't familiar with his game, but from the games that I watched of Leviathan in the off-season, I was very impressed with this kid. Sato, for me, one of the biggest talents in the world right now, and same for Spike Zane. This duo here is one of the most scary duos we got in Valorant right now. If you don't know, my friends, don't worry, you're gonna know soon, okay? So this thing here, I think is gonna do great with PXS and do even better with Neon. But just to talk a little bit about PXS, he's a very good player, my friends. One thing that I like about him is that he's very vocal. It feels to me that he's very confident and he makes the thing better. You know, the way he communicates, the way he thinks about the game, the way that he behaves. Every time I see this guy play, I am impressed. His last team was Team Solid, I believe, but he also played for 2G, so he already got experience on VCT as well, and he was playing with DGZ, my friends. So I think this team here is gonna do great. I will put them on 4th place here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they go higher, especially when Neon gets to play. So more on Neon, my friends. Like I said, Sato and Spike Zin to me were the two biggest talents. One of the biggest talents we have in the world right now. But from what we saw in the off-season, this kid Neon might be even a tier above. And that to me is actually crazy to believe. Crazy, crazy, crazy. He's like Messi, bro. I'm not even kidding. You guys gonna wait and see this kid play. He's different. Different. I don't think I had this feeling that I had with Neon since Premier, maybe. From what I saw, man, he was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, it's like I said it before, I think things will be harder. I will start here with Sentinels. So let's talk about them for a little bit, okay? Sentinels, in my opinion, they have 2 downgrades in their last 2 roster changes. Because for me, when they had the bang in a rate and they lost a intense, for me it was a downgrade. Potentially could be incredible, but it was a downgrade because you cannot replace these guys expect to be better, man. You know, like a lot of people thought that, but that was just crazy. So John will not be the IGL of this team anymore. He'll be the second color, and Kyle will be the in-game leader. Very interesting. But man, this guy here, we saw in the off-season, he can put the numbers, he can get aces, he can frag, and he's also have good communications, good IGLing. I was very surprised by Kyle. We already saw him playing on tier 2, and he was a good player. They had Cortesia. For me, Cortesia proved to be one of the best players in the world in his position. He's also a very hype guy, good energy, makes people around him be better. Not just in game, but outside of the game too. One of my favorite players, headshot machine, Screen 2.0. I love you, Cortesia, and I'll be cheering for you. Now, my friends, I put Vernal in a very high tier, as you guys know, and Redux used to be duo with Vernal when they play for Oxygen. And for me, this kid here is very, very talented. He can play controller, he can play duelist, and he's really, really good. He's also play chamber. So I think this year Redux is gonna show to the world how good he is. And I think this thing here, man. Also, they're gonna rate very confident player, aggressive player, good mechanics. I feel like this thing here, we expect them to be good, but they have the potential to be really, really good. So because of that, I will put them on the 5th place here. And I also, I think with John and the Kaplan and the players that they have, I don't think, there is no way Sentinels is gonna be bad. Just no way. Now I wanna talk about 100 Thieves, my friends. They kept Asuna in the roster. I know a lot of people don't agree with that, but I think Asuna is a good player, and there's a reason why they kept him over and over again. I think he'll be played as a second controller and flex as well. Recently he's played a lot of KO, and he shows some good stuff, my friends. Is he the best option that they could get? Maybe not. Maybe there's other players out there for these positions, but I still think Arsenal is really good, and I'm excited to see how he's gonna perform this year. They brought back Bang to the roster, incredible player, clutch player, get multi kills with the Phantom all the time. I like Bang a lot, my friends. They kept Cryocells, that for me is one of the best players in the world, especially on this chamber meta. And they also added Vora and Timotino that were on TSM, two upcoming stars, you could say. Timotino, duelist, very good mechanics. Vora, IGL experience, even though he's very young. I think he'll be the IGL of this team as well. I will not put Warren Thieves that high, but I think they have the potential to be really, really good. Okay, so I will put Thieves here on the 7 to 8 position for now. And now I want to talk about Cloud9, my friends. They brought back Zelzis, and he will be the IGL of this team, my friends. And he doesn't have experience being the IGL. This will be his first time. They already played some off-season tournaments. They didn't look that impressive, but they look okay. They also added Penny to the roster, who is a good player, has experience playing for G2, version 1, sub 14 Liquid in International. His last team was Apex. He's a good player. Zappa, still on the roster, my friends. A lot of people call him mid, but I think Zappa, he already showed that he's more than a mid player, but he needs to show with more consistency, because this might be his last chance, especially on Cloud9. I think the success of this team will depend a lot on how he performs. I think Zappa gotta show more for this team to fight for the top spots, and I think he can. I think Zappa is a smart and talented player, okay? They also got Vic, my friends, who showed to be improved to be one of the best controller players we had in VCT Americas last year. A star player, you could say. But the big star of this team, of course, is Zox, one of the best talents in the world, a player that I like a lot, but also gotta be there for this team with consistency, because this team will depend a lot on him to fight for the internationals and titles. But how are you gonna rank Cloud9, Mundi? My friends, I think Cloud9 has the potential, but for now, I'm gonna put them on 9 to 10 place. Okay, for now. I don't think Cloud9 is bad, my friends. It's not because FURIA is in the last place, or Cloud9 is here, or even Thieves. It's because of their bad. Bro, I just think this year is gonna be very stacked. I don't think there's any bad thing here, my friends. I think all teams on VCT Americas this year will be very, very strong. Some teams, of course, with higher potentials, bigger investments, kept the roster successful covers for long. But I think all teams here are very good, my friends. And now I want to talk about Loud, my friends. The World Champions got a new IGL, a new captain, and it's Pancada. For me, one of the most underrated players in the current moment. I think he's really, really good. One of the best controller players of all time. But he was never an IGL before. And this will be a big challenge for him. And I think he's gonna do really, really well, okay? He has experience to play with John, with Sassi, Sadak, all players that are IGLs, are leaders as well in and outside of the game. I think Pancada will learn a lot from them and will do an amazing job here with this team. They kept Verdi on the team, aggressive player, duelist, hard-working guy. I'm excited to see what he will do this year. Last year, some good games, some bad games. We need more consistency. And talking about consistency, Kawanzin, for me, top 5, maybe initiator in the road, one of the best players, but last year was very inconsistent, to not say really bad in some moments. His decision making was terrible, but he's still a very incredible player in my eyes, and he can be one of the best in the world again. I really do believe that, my friends. They got a new player. This one I'm not that familiar with. I know he played with Verdi before, and their coaches Romila before as well. It's Darker. I only saw some clips from him, and from what I saw, judging by these clips, these highlights, his mechanics is one of the most beautiful things I see in a long, long time. So I'm very, very excited to see this guy play for Loud. But my friends, they also got Luke Show, that from the moment that he joined this team, I think he proved to be the best player on the team. He's a star player, one of the biggest talents Brazil have. And I feel like both him and Kavanzin started underperforming, maybe after they changed their communications to English. So now that they will communicate in Portuguese again, I think they will return to their level and play the best that they can. I'm very excited for this loud thing, especially considering that last year, man, they lost a lot of games, but the games were very, very close, decided in details, and decided in throw rounds and thrifty rounds. So if they can fix this stuff, adapt it to the meta, I think they're gonna do an amazing job, and they can fight for internationals with this roster. I do believe that, my friends. I think Loud has the potential to be really, really good. So because of that, I will put them here on the 6th position, but I won't be surprised if they fight for higher grounds. Now we only got 3 things left, my friends, and the first thing that I want to talk about here is Evil Geniuses, man. So, EG, they kept Potter as their head coach, they brought back the world champion Con, and he will be the IGL of this team, my friends. Supa stays on the roster, and they added Okeanos, Dejizin, and Bao. Okeanos and Bao, they played together on Emeri with Sato. And so Okeanos already knows a little bit about Brazilians, a little bit of Portuguese. Dejizin, for me, is one of the biggest talents in the world in terms of mechanics. And he's also one of the hardest works guys I ever seen. I will be cheering for EG a lot, especially because of Dejizin. And I think that the success of this team will depend on him a lot. I know Con respects Dejizin a lot, same for Potter. I hope these players here will some way, somehow find a way to make Dejizin feeling at home, feeling good, feeling happy. And if he's feeling like that, he will put up the numbers, he will go for plays, and he will destroy people. Doesn't matter who, Dejizin is a player that can take down anyone on the server, my friends. But if he doesn't perform, I think this thing here will struggle a lot. I will put them right now with Cloud9 on the 19th position. Now there's only Crew and Envy left, my friends. 2 things that I will love to watch this year. For those who don't know, Envy, they were my favorite thing to watch last year because of their play style, how aggressive they were. It was just beautiful, my friends. I watched them from their beginning, almost, like even before they were Envy, when they're called Rankers. I did most of their games, and bro, I had tons of fun watching them play. But now we got some roster changes because 2 of their players, star players, are too young to play. So Kane and Ion won't be able to play on VCT this year, but it's just a matter of time until this happens because their talent is unmatched, my friends. They are special. But to complete their roster, Envy announced yesterday that Kesnet and Rossi will replace them. Rossi played for Cloud9, played for LEVIATAN, and 14-1. Big personality, very vocal, good player. I like Rossi. Okay? And Envy, bro, they probably try a lot of people and they thought Rossi fit well the thing. So I'm excited to see how good he will look on this thing. And the other player, my friends, nothing less than Kesnet Eljos. The god of Latam will play for Envy. And that sounds crazy, but bro, it kind of fits really, really well. I love this pick, man. I was thinking about Dibon1, I was thinking about EA, but maybe Kesnet is the best fit for this thing. And my friends, I think Envy will keep playing as they did before. W gaming non-stop. These guys are so fun to watch, my friends. And Dexter will probably play Yoru on every map. He's the GOAT of this agent, my friends. Keep an eye on Envy. They are fun to watch. Before we put Envy here on the power rank, I want to make a slight adjustment on Cloud9. I'm thinking about putting them on the 11th position, FURIA on 12, and then put Envy here on the position number 10. And now we've only got 1 thing left, and it's Crew Esports, my friends. So, Crew, it's a very interesting one. They got Sadak, one of the greatest IGLs of all time. MW0, considered to be one of the best Brazilian players of all time, but still gotta prove more on VCT, okay? And I know that both Sadak and Les respect MW0 a lot. They wanted to play with him even when they were on Loud, but that couldn't happen back then because I think contracts. They also added Silence to the roster that was on 2G. He did an amazing job in their Ascension run. Played good on their VCT journey. It was sad that they couldn't play with Spike Zin before. I think if they did, they wouldn't get relegated. They would still be on franchise, but it is what it is. In their last player is Dante Deus. This guy is very, very aggressive, similar to Silence. We saw him playing first me on their Ascension run. I think it was All Knights in the name of the team. After that, he played with Crew. They tried to play double duelist. I like the Crew actually, playing double duelist with him and Castnet. For me, he's a very aggressive player, W gaming, but he gotta perform with consistency on VCT because my friends, the other duelists, they are incredible. I think Crew is a very good team. They got some really, really good players and they have the potential to be great. Will they be? I don't know. For now, I will put them here. Actually, a little higher than 100 Thieves. I put it on the 7th place. And my friends, this is my final power ranking for now. I think, man, a lot can change, you know. Like I said it before, there's a lot of good things, very strong rosters. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some chaotic stuff happening here. But I think this is a solid one. Let me know what you think, my friends, if you guys agree or if you think I'm delusional. This is the first power ranking that we do this year. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe, activate notifications, and give me your feedback on things that we can improve on. I plan on doing the same here for EMEA and Pacific. So I see you, my friends, in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Have a great day, a great year, and I wish you guys always the best, my friends. Bye-bye.